Good morning, everybody, and a happy Wednesday to you all. Welcome to Thrive, Not Just Survive. I'm your host, Nasira Jamal, and today I have a very special guest on. But before I introduce her to you, I wanted to just sort of lead this conversation a little bit about what is your passion? What do you want to do? A lot of my guests are women entrepreneurs or wanting to get into the entrepreneurship journey. And I ask this question because it's something that you want to tap into so it can lead you in the direction of what you can serve the world with. Because when you're passionate about something, you want to wake up every day and you want to do it. So, for a lot of people, while during this pandemic, they've had this time of reflection. And for some people, have had job loss and they have to look at other things that they could be doing or want to be doing. So, this is a great time for us to look at that and discover what is it that we truly want to do with our lives and what is the impact we want to have with the world around us. So today's guest is a very special guest. She's actually somebody I met through my network for my son's programming called BOSS, which stands for branching out support services. And this is for young adults who are out of school and they create a group where they can do different things with the community and have engagement and really be a part of a community. And so I met Liz through that, and my son adores her. So let's get this conversation started because I feel like Liz has a really unique story and I want her to share that with us. So let me welcome her to our screen and we'll get this conversation started. Hey, Liz, welcome. How are you?
Hi, I am doing well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I watched your class this morning and it really inspired me that I need to do some activity. So before we get into all of that, I really want to start with sharing your story. Like, how did you get to doing what you're doing? And just kind of walk us through where it all started.
Gee, how long is the podcast? Um, I probably the short and most honest answer is I don't know. But life has taken me down many paths, and I ended up where I am now, which is balancing three passions and sort of keeping those balls in the air. Uh, One passion being health and the fitness of the human body, mind and spirit, through fitness. One being creative passions through theater and through creating things with my hands. And the third being a little bit more of a recent passion, which is helping the planet, the health of the planet as well. So I suppose I can put that into the health of the body and the planet kind of together because
Well,
those
I
are
guess
really
it's part
important
of,
to me.
yeah. So it's part of being in a place where you can make change or have impact and create something that is sustainable. So really, I think it's amazing because really, when you told me that, it's like juggling the three passions, a lot of people have talked to me, the women that I coach, they want to figure out their passion and they think there maybe it's only one thing that they could do. And in some cases it is. Some
Mhm.
people are very passionate about one particular thing or one particular problem they want to help solve. But in your case, you've created how, and you said it to me, was you connected the dots where
Mhm.
you figured out how you can show up in alignment of who you are and what you really love doing. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I guess I'm called Busy Lizzie. And that wasn't a name I gave myself initially. It was people always saying, "Oh, you're so busy," because I was running a fitness studio at the time, and yet I was making crochet crafts for people, and I was performing in musical theater and trying to again sort of do all these little bits and pieces of my passions. But oh, you're so busy. Oh, you're so busy. And it's kind of become that moniker that everybody is, oh, I'm so busy. And it's, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, or I don't want to assign that to it, but it became, oh, Busy Lizzie. And it was kind of cute. So I used that as my email address for a while and got good results with that. And then I thought, well, let's celebrate that busyness because we all feel that, whether it's juggling home, family, career, uh, other hobbies, things like that. That busyness is such a part of who we have to be these days. So let's embrace and celebrate the fact that we can honor each other and lift each other up through those busy times.
Absolutely. I think that is so profound because that busyness, yes, we're all busy. And we can get into things that perhaps take us off track. But the idea of being busy is just that, right? But we can embrace it, celebrate it, and then it doesn't become a negative connotation attached to it where you feel like, oh my God, I'm busy, but I'm not accomplishing anything.
Exactly. Exactly. So when I began using Busy Lizzie as a bit more of a moniker, I realized that that's what helped me connect the dots is that having a busy life was very often a reason why people couldn't exercise. So if I can come up with helping to motivate people to love it enough that they can work that 45 minutes into their day, that's why I only do 45-minute classes because
Right.
it's a little easier to get in, get out, get her done, and get on with your busy day. I am a busy person too. I understand you're a busy person too. Let's get her done. And
Right.
I try and stick to that side of it. Let's celebrate and let's work with the people who need to get on with their day and just have this
Right.
part of what they do and not their whole world. So that really fit in with the fitness side of things. Let's make people healthier so that their busy lives are more productive. So that
Right.
you can go through your day feeling healthy and energized and not exhausted.
Right. And I think that's something like, especially with COVID happening, right, where people were kind of out of their routines.
Mm.
I think from what I heard from a lot of women was, they weren't feeling themselves. Like they didn't, some of them were going to the gym, but they weren't getting out to the gym now, obviously. And
Mhm.
so they were losing that kind of momentum. And creating a routine became very important as we came into COVID and weeks went on to months, right, of
Mhm.
not being in our routine, being able to go to work or whatever that might be. So I think the idea of you creating something that allows people to get in, get out, like get them done, get it done, and be able to be energized is really another step to having a more successful day with everything else that's going on.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
So
walk me through like that part of it. So you're doing these sessions, is it daily? Like how do you do the classes that you're running?
Ah, well, in the real world before COVID, it was 5 mornings a week, 9:15 to 10 o'clock, 5 different programs, local location, very simple. Um, pay as you go, class packages, very, very simple. Try and keep it simple. Now after COVID, of course, that all just cut off without any warning.
Yep.
And I am not a particularly computer savvy, although I mean I know my way around things. I am not unaccustomed to the computer screen because I do a lot of my work on spreadsheets and this and that. But video was very foreign to me. I've never done that before. So I just hit Facebook Live and just to see how it would come up. That very first morning when we weren't allowed to meet personally, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try this. And I just hit live and I have my little basement studio here already, which is where I don't teach here. It's too small,
Okay.
but I do my own workouts and planning, and it's my space to
Right.
do that. So I thought, oh, well, let's just try it. So I went through this huge learning curve. The first videos are awful. There's no sound. Look, I got a mic now. Look at me. I
Yes,
have a
I
mic.
see that.
The learning curve was immense, and I had such wonderful support coming through that from friends who offered a laptop and and the microphone and all this stuff came from willing and wonderful friends that helped me out along the way. So so now I'm providing the same 9:15 in the morning, but I'm just doing about half an hour because I know people, again, this busy lives thing. People have their kids online, they have to work, they have to do all of these things. So I'm doing about a half an hour, just little energizing warm up, wake up workout. And I'm keeping with a similar schedule that I used to do for my in-person classes so that those who were following the in-person would have that continuity. But I'm just shortening it up a bit so that you can get on with your day.
So again, I want to highlight that you didn't know the video scene and you didn't have all of the the know-how, but what
Mm-mm.
happens is when you get pushed to a place, right, learning happens, and then on the other side you're like, oh my gosh, this is even better than what I anticipated it would be, right? Because
Yeah,
you've got it working, you've learned a new skill, you feel
yeah,
more confident, right? It just shows through the screen. Like, I watched some of your videos in the beginning, and now looking at it, there's just that much more confidence coming through the screen because you're figuring things out. And that's
yeah,
what entrepreneurship is all about, is we must learn to pivot at certain times. Either, well, we didn't anticipate a pandemic, but that
mm-mm.
is something we all have to learn through and navigate through. But even just in normal sense, like, let's say without the pandemic, businesses have to take a pivot. If something's not working, you try something else,
Yeah,
do surveys, you do research, and you figure it out as to how you want to create that momentum for others and profitability for yourself. And that's a conversation I think some people have a difficult time, creating that connecting of the dots of, I want to
mhm,
have an impactful business, but how do I make profit doing that? And I feel kind of odd, but that's the whole idea of connecting these dots, because once you're profitable, you can serve even more people, you can have more impact. And
yeah.
so it has to go hand in hand. So tell me now about the other things that you do, because this is the health and fitness is a really important component. I think that is important for everybody, whether you're an entrepreneur or not. So now guide us through some of the other things that you're doing.
Oh, definitely. And it's funny because as you were talking about connecting the dots, I was actually rolling forward to that in my mind and thinking, yes, because that's where it does connect. So Busy Lizzie Fitness, which we've chatted about, my other side of that same coin is Busy Lizzie Boutique. So that's where I use my handicrafting work and I make things that help support an active lifestyle and a
Okay.
green lifestyle. So I crochet. That's my main event when I'm doing handiwork. And this is one of my products here. Is just a little hair wrap. And I mean, it seems simple. A hair wrap is a hair wrap, but this for me is for when I'm doing a downward dog in yoga or something. It stays on my head. It holds my hair in. It's a very practical way that helps me to be able to do what I need to do to be active.
Yeah.
Connecting my dots, yoga mat bags, water bottle holders, like with the straps so that you can go on a hike and have
Oh,
your water bottle with you without, hands free, things like that. So active accessories such as that. And the other part of this plays my green and my love of the earth is that I do a lot of things that are helpful for the environment to reduce single use waste. So the other line of products that I have is my green on the go or green at home line of products, where I have things like, for example, cotton pads that replace cotton balls or cotton rounds that you would throw away, reusable cotton rounds that you
oh,
use for taking your makeup off or applying your toner, and then you put in the laundry instead of the garbage.
how
Things,
awesome is that?
things like that.
That is brilliant, right? Because when we become conscious, right, consciously aware of how our actions really impact our environment, it's astounding, right? Like, you think, oh my
Mm,
gosh, we want to leave a better planet for our children and the generations to come, but we're not part of the solution if we're using things that are actually detrimental, right? So I think it's
exactly.
brilliant of how you're doing it. And so do you make all of these yourself, or?
Everything by hand.
Wow, that is
Everything by hand. Yeah. I
amazing.
try and upcycle when I can. So I also do quite a bit with t-shirts.
Okay.
So I don't sew. Now let me just get this straight. Sewing, I can sew a straight-ish line, but that's not my forte. So I try and do many no sew projects and things. So but I do use upcycled t-shirts quite a lot. So for example, one of the new products I haven't even launched yet. Do you want to hear about it?
Yes, absolutely.
Is
First time
I'm
ever,
going. Oh, here we go. The
right?
big premiere right now. It's going to be called World Wise Wipes because we are so in need of things to wipe down surfaces right now. And I have been getting some true anxiety seeing all the wipes and disinfectant wipes and things that are being thrown in the garbage now. So, in an environment where you're able to do so, why not use something reusable. So can I just pop off camera for one
Yes,
sec? Let
yes,
me show you.
please. So this is how creativity, I want to talk about this while she's getting her things here in order. This is where creativity pops in is, you have things going on in our life like the pandemic, and the creative mind, when you open up to it, comes up with these amazing ideas that actually can be very, very useful. So show us what you've got, because I'm really excited.
This couldn't be simpler, but think of, you pull a wipe, you wipe something, you throw it in the garbage. Just this is t-shirts upcycled. You can even do this. I'm going to even give you this idea. Please take this idea. Cut up t-shirts. You do not need to hem them. You do not need to do anything. Cut them into squares or whatever size you want. Stuff them in a jar.
Okay.
Then you just use your preferred spray or whatever disinfectant that you like to use in your home. And instead of throwing this in the garbage, you throw it in the laundry basket.
That is brilliant. I think anybody can do this, and we can all become more conscious about our environment. I love it.
And if you want me to cut them up for you, I can do it. And I haven't even priced these or packaged them or anything else apart from just picking 3 different sizes. I have these around my home, and I have went to the thrift store and got a vase. Here's me going in the thrift store, sticking my hand in vases to make sure my hand will fit.
Right, right.
And I found a beautiful vase that matches my kitchen decor. And we now have wipes about this size. Oops, this is I think 8-inch, just stuffed in a vase. So I'm not folding them. I'm not rolling them who has time for that? Busy, right? Busy, busy, busy. They come out of the wash. They're crumpled up. You stuff them back in the vase.
Oh, wow. That is so brilliant.
Right? Don't make your life more difficult. I have the little tiny ones, and they're hankies. I use them for hankies. So you can even eliminate Kleenex if you want to go there with a zero waste, lower waste lifestyle. Again, use it once for those people who are worried about, maybe that's not your comfort zone. That's fine. But use it once, put it in a hamper, and then when you're ready, you disinfect that, you throw it through a hot wash, and you're good to go.
Because that's also another cost saving, like in terms of being more efficient, right? Like paper towels and all of these things are costly. They're very costly. And now, because we're using even more of them based on, we're trying to become more conscious about making sure our surfaces are wiped and clean and disinfected. You're using more. So it's like it's actually also helpful for, when you're looking at budgeting, right? You're just expensive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's a really, really easy way to circumvent some of the things that we have to now adjust to. And I think that's brilliant. For you sharing it, that's great. Like for people that want to get it, can they contact you through your website? Like how?
Oh, yeah. I haven't even got that posted yet. As I said, I'm in the development stages with this one. So this is kind of how my creative mind works. I find a need and I think, well, this could help the planet. This could help our health because you can use disinfectant sprays that are more healthful if you wish to in your home. And this is completely personal choice, right? But that's the way my mind works. I mean, I am probably, depending on maybe a week away from launching this and putting it up on my website. I want to find a nice reused jar to stuff them in and figure out how to package them. But right now I've just got these packages of wipes. I haven't even priced them yet, but I've cut them to size. And if people do want to purchase them, absolutely, I will be that person, because you may be too busy to sit there and collect t-shirts and cut them to size.
I was just going to say, we may have a t-shirt or 2 lying around or something, but in terms of getting enough to make this work, right? Like you need a lot of them. If you're using them and putting them in the wash, you still have to do laundry to get them back into the clean pile. Yes. So there's that process, right? So if you can have, a bundle of them, then you can put it back into your laundry routine. So they'll come out, in 4 days, you'll get another new clean batch and the old batch will go. So I totally agree.
Exactly.
For those that want to save time, that just don't have the time to do it like the way you're doing it, you can reach out to you. Now, are the other products that you do make available? Like I love the idea of the carrying bottle for hiking. Because we're going to start doing some hiking. Well, the weather is getting better, so we're going to be getting into that. I wanted to get Shani Bus out walking again. So can we get that on the website or like where? Yeah.
Yes, many of my products are available on the website, but I have to tell you, this is another thing that COVID has taught me, because I was very much relying on my person to person sales. I love being at the Orangeville Farmers Market every Saturday. I've been there for close to 5 years, maybe more. I think even longer as a part time vendor, but for the past 5 at least years as a regular full time every week vendor. And I love seeing my peeps, like chatting with people and selling and having conversations about lower waste, household zero waste. How can these products help you? That's my jam. I like being with people. And when that got cut off, I panicked because I realized my online presence for selling my stuff is horrible.
Right.
So,
Right.
learning curve. And
Learning.
that was my motto, hashtag learning curve.
Yeah. But the thing is, what's cool is it didn't scare you off. Like, for a lot of people, that would be, okay, well, then I'm just going to shut the doors and we're done, right? But
Right.
what we have to do as entrepreneurs, as I keep saying to everybody, is you need to learn how to pivot. And so if it wasn't an online presence, it's almost a blessing in disguise, because when things go back to normal, you'll have your in-person, the farmer's market and all the stuff you love, but your online can also be running at the same time, which is something where people that don't come to the farmer's market can still have access to what you're doing. So, right, it's just about creating that second revenue stream that is going to be more accessible for more people.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm learning. I mean, that's
Brilliant.
it. I mean, lifelong learner here too. I love to do what you say, pivot. I love the word pivot,
Yeah.
because people think, oh, you've failed if you go in a different direction, but you haven't.
No.
Just as when I'm teaching a fitness class, you're not failing if you do a move slightly differently, because that's what your needs are.
Right.
And in
Exactly.
life, if you pivot, it's because it's what you need to do at the moment.
And that's the sign of growth as well. Like, I find for those entrepreneurs that get good at pivoting, their growth is exponential. And the reason is they've learned from what didn't work, or perhaps timing was off on what they were trying to do. But as soon as they pivot to something that the market wants or needs, their growth is so big, right? That they know that that was the right move. And I am a big proponent of the law of attraction. So I think every pivot is in our favor, that it's guiding us to the right path of what needs to happen. And our resistances show up because we don't like change. Nobody likes change. Right.
No, boy,
Yeah.
have I learned that.
Yeah.
And this continuing to do what I do in a completely different format was life-saving for me when this COVID hit.
Right.
As I said, that morning when I woke up and I was like, well, I taught a class on the Monday, and on the Tuesday I wasn't allowed to. And
Right.
when I hit live at the same time of day as I would have been seeing my real people in person, I had to get that routine established right away. It saved me, because I don't know how my mind would have gone into a tailspin had I not done that.
Right.
And
And
had
you
I not had
learn.
that accountability to the people that
Right.
depend on me for those classes and whatnot too.
Yeah.
So
And also keeping up with your routine, because that's how we succeed in what we're doing, right? We have these
yeah,
routines, these certain things that we know is good for our businesses and that work. And you
yes,
keep that going in some way, fashion, whatever that is, right?
yeah,
And I think the pandemic has really allowed people to get creative and find things that they wouldn't have otherwise found had it not been a complete stop to life, right? It's
it's
almost like
true.
a reset button was pressed. And it's funny,
Mhm.
my book is called Life Reset, right? So I say to people, like, this is a true life reset when the pandemic hit.
It couldn't be more so, more so. I mean, forced on all of us. And it's kind of neat to see that most of us, well, we all had to do that. Whereas a lot of times you can reset your life, but because of external influences, it's very hard to stay on track with that reset, and you have to keep rebooting. But we've all had a hard reboot and
Yeah.
a software update and all that stuff.
All of that. I love it. I love the analogies, right? Like, it is a software update, and we are learning. And I think that people that will come out of the pandemic with more awareness and more focus and clarity on really what they want to do or how they really want to show up in their life,
Mm.
not just for themselves and their family, but for the community and the environment. I think there's a lot of good that will come out of this
Oh, I
when
hope so.
people, yeah. And that's our wish. And I think as entrepreneurs and women in motion, I think we we have to set the lead, right? We guide our tribes and we talk about it, and we come to conversations like this and encourage people and empower people, because really at the end of the day, we're all in this together.
Oh, you bet.
Right?
You
So I
bet.
am so grateful. Now, I don't know if we've touched on everything that you do, but
Not quite, but that's okay.
but if there's anything more that can really shed some light, I don't mind, in terms of just making sure we complete this conversation.
You know what? Just the last piece that I didn't talk much about on the creative end is my work with theater. And I'm just really, really proud to be part of Theatre Orangeville's Creative Partners on Stage program. My actual university training was in theater, was
Wow.
in drama and English. So you kind of asked for a backstory, and I didn't even give it to you, but my training is heavily in theater and English. And then I took my fitness training alongside that as a part-time job while I was trying to be an actor.
Okay.
And then it overtook in the race and became my full-time as I opened a fitness studio. And then I did acting and things part-time and just for fun, just
Right.
community theater. And then Theatre Orangeville approached me almost 10 years ago now to help with Creative Partners on Stage, which I then first assistant directed and then began to direct and then begin to write shows for along with Community Living Dufferin. So I am helping adults have a place to express themselves through theater and music and dance, and have the full support of a professional theater company. So that's another hat,
That's
right?
that's amazing. I mean, in terms of just you tapping into that is brilliant, because that's something that's one of your geniuses, right? Like that sounds like that's where you started. That's what
Well,
you're
yeah, that was
yeah,
my first passion, was
right?
theater and performing. And then when Theatre Orangeville approached me about this, working especially within the population of adults with disabilities, I wasn't sure how I was going to. I didn't really have a lot of experience, but I was willing to learn, and I took some courses through. Theatre Orangeville provided some training, and I was like, okay, I'm going to jump in. And through that experience led me to the BOSS, the Branching Out Support Services and Active Lives programs that are here in town, supporting similar communities, but through my fitness. So dots, dots,
Yeah.
dots, dots, right?
Yep.
So
And it's when you're open to it, I feel like the universe just produces those avenues for you to really share your gift. And I am forever grateful that you have touched my life, because you've touched my son's life. And I think what happens when you do that, especially with the group of adults that have learning disabilities, or are part of a group that needs special attention to when they're doing certain things, I think it's profound, because it makes a huge impact on their life in many ways, not just physical fitness, but even in their confidence, in the fact of how they relate to others and being part of a community, because sometimes they do really get kind of in the background of things. And so from my heart to yours, I want to say thank you for that, because for my son, it's been an amazing journey, and I know it'll continue. So thank you so much for sharing your light with me. I knew this interview was going to be amazing. So thank you very much. If there's any parting words that you have before we close the show off.
you know what, just thank you too. I mean, honestly, I'm very honored to have been asked to participate, and if anyone else can be helped by the conversation, then we've done something good today. So that's good.
Thank you so much. And for anybody that wants to get a hold of you, they can get you on your website. If they want to order anything, they can, again, message you on your website, right? Perfect.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Okay, everybody. So that was Busy Lizzie. So I hope that inspired you in some way. If your passion is one thing, if your passion is a couple of things, if you don't know what your passion is, begin the journey of figuring it out, because this is your time. The world is in need of all of us to show up and showcase our geniuses, practice our superpowers in helping others and in having impact. So I really encourage you to take this journey. I tell you, it'll be the best thing you've ever done, because at the end of it, you will look back and say, that was what I was meant to do. So with that, I want to close this off. I want to thank you for showing up and supporting me through this. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, share the video. You never know who this message can help. I'll see you all tomorrow. Be kind to yourself and to others.